good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Yes, the waiting is over. The most handsome person that you are seeing on the screen is none other than the Scott F. Paradis. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We say namaste, a big namaste to you. And in your language, we say salute.
Salute.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am really delighted to have you. Wow.
Well, I'm happy to be here with you, Dinesh.
So nice of you. So nice of you. Well, let me give you a small introduction that I have about you, and then we will be immediately jump to the questions that my listeners have specially asked and they have kept for you, because once we kept the advertisement and the event, the questions started flowing on my page. So few of the questions are there from my side also. So here is a small introduction. Scott Paradis is a leadership strategist, author of 11 books. Yes, you heard correct. Author of 11 books and former senior United States Army officer who served in the Balkans and Iraq. Advised Congress as a Senate fellow and studied at Harvard. Great. His mission is to help people turn uncertainty into opportunity by rethinking power, leadership, and wealth as an act of awareness and contribution. Audiences walk away equipped to challenge assumptions, redesign outdated systems, and lead from the place of wisdom and agency. And this is about a person who is with us, none other than Scott Paradis. Thank you so much, sir, for being on our platform. We are highly honored to have you, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you, Dinesh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So let me jump to the questions immediately. And the first question before I ask is, I am really puzzled because you are the man who always saw the power. You are the man always dictated. You are the man always wanted the result. Whereas now you are the one who are contributing something just opposite, 180-degree in your language. Please tell us, sir, how it happened, your initial journey, sir.
Well, I had not intended to do a 30-year military career. When I
Wow.
was in school, I had thought about serving in the military for a short time, and then I ended up joining the Army Reserve. It's a reserve which is just a part-time. So part-time with the Army for us, 1 weekend a month, and then a couple of weeks of training in the summer. And I thought I'd stay in the reserves for about 8 years and then go on to something else. What ended up happening was my intention was to start in business, start an entrepreneurial venture and light the world on fire, so to speak, and start growing that into something big.
Wow.
My entrepreneurial ventures were up and down. My wife, she was teaching school at the time, so she was a steady income. And we were having our first child, and we wanted her to be able to stay home, which meant I needed to get on the straight and narrow. So I applied to go on active duty in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my process, and then for the next 25 years, I was serving on active duty. And the Army, the focus is really applying power to achieve political ends.
Okay.
So it's all about how we use power to get what we want. And that is what I studied, the application of power for that number of years, for decades, really. And over the course of my career, I went to different assignments in Europe and across the United States. And I ended up applying for and was received as a congressional fellow working for the U.S. Senate. And there again, I was studying the application of power at our national government level. And I went to Harvard and I studied international relations. So again, it was all about this application of power. When I retired from the Army, however, I wanted to do something that was a personal and professional development. And
Mhm.
what I needed to do and what I considered was this idea of power in achieving our personal ends is really fundamentally about unleashing what we personally have, which is our personal power. So it was really a flip, as you say. It moved me to the other side from this idea of the institution applying power to achieve institutional objectives to how do we apply our personal power to achieve our personal objectives.
Oh, great. Wow. But, sir, from your saying this, as you said about this power, as an outsider, I think that I see two Scott, a person who is highly dedicated to rules, regulations, literature, books, and system, whereas another person who is able to apply them. And when you apply them, it's altogether different because you can't have 100% rules on them. So how you shifted and how you manage it, sir?
It's funny because in a military environment, it is very much disciplined and rules and
Right.
expectations. However, what you train for in the military is a condition of no rules and chaos, which is war. The absolute worst conditions you can have because there are no rules and it all becomes chaos. So you have to prepare for all of that chaos. In life, we can say we want to structure our
Right.
lives, but in reality, our environment is always changing, it's always evolving. So we have to change and evolve and adapt.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
that is how,
Sir, will you please repeat and explain that how we have to change?
yes.
Please.
So I look at life as an
Mhm.
adventure. It's
Right.
really just it's an opportunity and an adventure. So I say we are exploring and we're learning and growing and we're creating and contributing. So we're doing all of those on this journey of life. For us, everything is in motion, everything is changing. So the journey is always new. It's every moment is a new moment. You've heard the metaphor of every moment is a present. It is the present moment. It is because it is evolving and changing, and we
Hmm.
are being asked to evolve and change as well.
Great. So once again, I am asking you, sir, that as you said that you all and change agreed, done. As per the rule, agreed, done. But you had been to Harvard University where you studied something very special. And then when you came to the practical life, can you please share one example where you applied one of its principles and it worked and you liked and the people also enjoyed?
Yes. So this idea of being rigid and following the rules is not how life operates. So for
Mhm.
us, if we want to be able to open ourselves to all the possibility of life, we have to let the rule book go, so to speak. It's not about playing by every single rule, covering every single base, because life is ever changing and evolving. So for me, when I changed from this, we've got to follow these steps, this process, into a more opening myself to what's coming into my life, then
Oh.
I could apply that idea of meeting life where it meets me. And then if I do that, if I'm open and if I allow
Mhm.
what happens, then I will be in a better attitude and a better position to react. So I apply that in my life with the people that I meet. And it's not
Mhm.
that I have a rigid expectation of who they are and where they're going, where this conversation is going to go.
Right.
It's an idea of being open to where the conversation takes us. And in that respect, I meet people where they are, and they're much more open to engaging with me. So I see this on a daily basis when I let my guard down and just listen to other people and
Mhm.
accept where they're coming to me from, then it's better off for both of us. And I see that on a daily basis.
Great, sir. As you said, the last, the listen to other people and something which has got connection with the idea and implementation. So I think that I realized that perhaps you must be the most ideal and happy husband that you are listening. Good. Great. And the second thing that came to me is once again, a question comes from your explanation. How you simplify the system or the rule or the written version.
Part of it for me, my goal in helping people understand is really to make the complex simple. Because if you can't simplify it, you
Hmm.
really don't understand it. So we often, like, you think about professionals as an example, lawyers or doctors, they have a language that to the layman is very difficult to understand.
Right.
But in reality, what they're getting to is a very simple process. So in the
Oh,
military, we use jargon, military jargon, and
yes.
acronyms and all kinds of things. But it really is just because it's a specialized field. But fundamentally, to
Hmm.
understand life and how to make progress in life, we have to simplify what seems to be complex.
Oh,
And life really, if you look at all of the different aspects of it, it seems very complex. But the reality is very simple. And the very simple part is we're on this journey. So let me give you a metaphor. The
yes,
metaphor
please.
is we're in a river and we're flowing down the river.
Hmm.
So we can resist, we can grab onto a stick or a rock and we can try to fight the river's flow, or we can let ourselves go and open ourselves to the process. Letting ourselves go and opening ourselves to the process is life simplified. And
Beautiful.
that's what I try to do when I engage with these ideas.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm sure that all my listener they must be enjoying, and I'm just within few seconds you have literally changed our listeners' perception because we were thinking that you must be a hardcore person. Oh my God! And just you know only one language, that is yes and no. Whereas the way you explained and you told that no, even the rules can be simplified, even the rules can be happily applied and they can be happily obeyed. So that was really wonderful, wonderful, sir, wonderful. I loved it, loved it. Great. Well, sir, let me go to one more question for you. And here is that, sir, Alaska, a 95-pound golden doodle and 11 books, not one or two. Still, sir, I can't able to pronounce it. 11 books, my God. How does the wildness shape your philosophy on wealth, sir? How do you connect it with your wealth, sir?
You know, it's interesting if you look back. So when I started as a young person, I wanted to build a business that would make a great contribution and an impact, but would also generate wealth.
Right?
And as I went through life, I lived a good life. I traveled. We never wanted for anything, but we were not rich, so to speak.
Mhm.
But then when I retired and we went to Alaska and I spent time with my dog and writing those books, I came to understand that life, we think that life is about what we get or what we can accumulate or potentially status we can achieve. It really is none of those things. It
Right.
is really about this idea of being, which is enjoying this adventure, this exploration, this journey that we are on.
Mhm.
So, coming to terms with the power and the achievement and the status and wealth, I say ultimately wealth is a realization and awareness of the beauty and the majesty of this adventure we are on. If you
Beautiful.
can accept that this is an adventure that is beautiful and magnificent and full of opportunity, then every present moment, every moment that you are in is a gift, and it is a
Right.
gift to be savored and enjoyed. And that is what wealth is fundamentally really all about.
Wow, what a definition you have given about wealth. Lovely, I loved it because I remember in my place it is said that you spend all your health to gain money, and then you spend all your money to gain the health. and at
Yes.
last you have nothing.
Right.
So it's always better that a person, especially for the young generation who are listening to this program, they must able to get a perfect direction that yes, it's not money always. There is something which is known as enjoyment, health, nature, and so many other things. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely. Well, sir. So, can you please tell us in little more detail that what assumptions about the money is keeping most leaders stuck in competition and division? What's
Yes.
your saying?
So we have a very curious happening. And so I'll keep this in terms of money and what I call the money game.
Mm-hmm.
All wealth is the product of real people, human beings, doing productive, constructive things for one another. So
Right.
that is, Dinesh, you create value, much like you're doing with these programs, and then you bring that value to the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I call the real economy or the money game that is a making game. So people create value. Oftentimes they get together, they collaborate, and they create,
Mm-hmm.
they bring something of value to the marketplace, and then
Right.
they exchange that value. It is a increasing the pie. Everybody is better off. So
Yes.
we're increasing all the wealth that's available and everyone prospers. However,
Hmm.
because of human nature, sometimes the environment and the systems that we develop, there is another game that we play. Now, most people, when they think about the money game, they think about the real economy, and that is this making game, create wealth, bring it to the marketplace. But there is another game that overlays the making game, and that is the taking game.
Right.
That is as old as human society. So for 12,000 years, those who can dominate have decided that it is a better choice for them to acquire things by dominating others. It's not bringing value to the marketplace, it's taking value from others. In our modern economy, most people believe and are legitimately contributing in a valuable way to the making economy. However, there is a taking economy that still exists. And today, that is most readily seen in our financialization of our economy. Financialization is fundamentally about ownership. Who
Right.
owns what and who owes what? And people who deal in money and playing
Hmm.
the taking game are just
Yes.
taking value from those who create value. Now, unfortunately, most people don't realize the taking game overlays the making game. So they just continue to struggle. They continue to spin their wheels and they think, why can I not get ahead? It's because the system is set up in a way that reinforces those who are playing the taking game by a different set of rules than people who are playing the making game. And this is the big disconnect in our
Hmm.
economy and people's understanding of money. We collectively empower money because we buy into whatever's being used as money and say that's what we need to get what we want. And once we say that, we all buy into that, then it becomes about getting money by whatever means we can, not creating value and bringing value to the marketplace. And that
Right.
is the major disconnect about money. You can play the making game,
Hmm.
which is bringing value to the marketplace, but you must understand that others are playing a taking game. So you've got to divorce yourself, try to recognize who's playing a taking game and disassociate yourself from that taking game and only associate with people who are playing the making game, and together you can prosper. The taking game is
Hmm.
primarily about dividing the pie. I
Correct.
need to get as much of the pie as I possibly can. I'm not creating value. I'm not adding value. I'm just taking as much as I can for me. So most people struggle playing the making game, doing legitimately what we ask everyone to do, which is create value, bring it to the marketplace. But they don't understand there are others who are playing a taking game, and they
Hmm.
design the system to reinforce the taking game rules, which extracts wealth from those
Right.
from those people playing fair, playing a genuinely good game.
I agree, but I think the way you are saying looks quite good in theoretically. But think of a person who doesn't have roof on his head and he has a empty stomach. How can he think of this giving money or giving instead of taking money game? How can we have a contributing
Yes.
money on his side?
Fundamentally, so I say there are three lenses we
Mhm.
essentially view the world through. Three
Okay.
lenses, three ways of looking at the world. And unfortunately, if you face difficult circumstances, the lens that we default to is a survival lens. And the
Okay.
survival lens demands whatever it takes to ensure you survive. Now, this unfortunately puts us in a mindset of lack, want,
Hmm. Hmm.
scarcity,
Hmm.
need. If we're
Hmm.
in that mindset, we think one, the world is a dangerous place, everyone is out to get us, and therefore we must compete as cunningly as
Right.
and effectively as we can. So it always puts us in a defensive posture. Now, if you
Hmm.
are somehow big, strong, capable, cunning, then you are going to dominate those around you and take. But I would say there's a better way. So the
Mhm.
intermediate way is this through a structure lens. And this lens is understanding, first of all, that there are other ways to acquire what I need. The first thing is get out of the lack mindset. And I know
Beautiful.
when you're faced that lack and limit scarcity mindset, you think that's the only way to get out of that is to take what I need.
Right.
If you can somehow, and this is the challenge, and I think this is the fundamental point of your question, the challenge is how do I get out of that scarcity mindset so that I can then turn the table so that I can bring value to others, connect, collaborate, add value, and then exchange that value, and we can all prosper. That is a challenge that is ultimately the fundamental challenge of our being. If you were
Mhm.
not born to wealth, if you were not born to high society and comfortable means, then you have to struggle from that foundational position. But I would say the first key is getting out of the lack and limit
Right.
scarcity mindset. If you can get out of the lack and limit scarcity mindset, then you can think of how can I bring value instead of
Mhm.
constantly taking value. Not an easy thing to do. I'm saying in no way is that easy. But the real key is that it's consciousness. It is
Oh.
not the external circumstances that drive this train. If you can step back and
Hmm.
take responsibility for your own life and say, look, I'm not going to go down the taking
Hmm.
lane. I'm
Hmm.
going to believe there is opportunity, there is value, there is prosperity there if I'm willing to, and this is much easier said than done,
Hmm.
let myself go and approach circumstances from a value added perspective instead of always taking, then you can change that dynamic from the survival lens, which is our default lens,
Right.
to a more I will apply value, bring something of value to other people, and it will be mutually beneficial. And
Hmm.
together we can connect, collaborate,
Right.
and create.
Oh. So does it mean that mind game also plays a lot?
I think, fundamentally, our journey of life. So we're going down this river of life. The idea is to now we frame it as we're becoming. I want to become this or
Hmm.
evolve to that.
Hmm.
I would say flip that framework around 180 degrees, and it really is I'm letting go of all the things I've been pretending to be.
Right.
I've been
Right.
pretending to be in lack and limit. I've been pretending to be not up to the challenge or somehow that I am not enough. You are enough. You are capable enough. You are intelligent enough. You have the ability to extend your humanity out into this world to get whatever you need, whatever so that you can become the best version of yourself. I use that if you
Mhm.
say the becoming framework, it's the best version of yourself, which for most of us is letting go of all the things that are holding us back. And the
Yes,
fundamental thing that holds us back is
yes,
fear. It's fear.
yes,
It's
yes.
fear of loss, loss of status, loss of something, loss of relationships, loss of standing. If we can let that go, and sometimes those difficult challenges that we face are just stepping stones to
Hmm,
reveal our true nature, then we can open ourselves. We're not going to get away from fear. We're always going to
hmm,
feel fear, but we got to understand when I feel fear, it is an
hmm.
opportunity for me to question. I'm feeling fear. That means I have to question, what am I protecting? What am I hiding from? And if I can feel that fear and say, I'm not going to hide from that anymore, then you will grow and you will let go of whatever mask you've been wearing.
Yeah, yes. I'm connecting your talk and thoughts with someone speaker who once said that even the ant has the power. Ant, what you say? Ant has the power. Why can't a human being not have? What human being does is it either keeps on doubting. So, as you said, that if you can shift the doubt, yes, perhaps even the universe will help you. Very correct.
Absolutely,
Very correct, sir.
absolutely, absolutely.
Beautiful. Sir, I have got so many questions to be asked, but the time do not permit me. Allow me to brake my vehicle, turn it to the different direction, and here are few questions for which I request you to answer in as short as possible. We have named it as a rapid fire question. Please help me to ask those questions and please be ready to reply those questions. And sir, here is the first question for you. Sir, please tell me one word that the people use when they describe the future that you want.
I would say magnificent, magnificent,
Wow. So please repeat it again. Please.
magnificent, magnificent. That is the possibility that's ahead of us.
Superb. Lovely. So, best advice from your boss, ma'am Lisa, that change your leadership.
I had mentioned this already, and you had said it. You kind of joked about me being a good husband because I listened, and it really is. We've been together, my wife and I, for 40 years. 40 years, and it
Great.
really is about listening, not judging, not anticipating, listening.
At least I need to learn that.
Still a struggle. Still a struggle.
Lovely. Sir, what does the Rusty understand about teams that human forget? My
Yes.
pet question.
Yes. So this is my Rusty is my golden doodle, and it really is about being in the present moment, letting go of all distractions and being here now, because every moment is a gift for us to enjoy.
Wow. And for me, I say that money is only the wealth that one should have. Whereas for you, real wealth is blank. Fill up the blank, sir.
It is awareness. Awareness. So it's this understanding of truth, what
Hmm.
you truly are, who you are, what you're capable of, and it is something that is spectacularly more than we consciously understand. Is if we can accept that we are more than what we see, then we will, if we are aware of that, then that is the wealth of being.
Superb. I read somewhere the most uncommon things are one is the common sense, and another thing, as you said, is awareness. Yes, very correct, sir. You have written books, you have read books, you have enjoyed books. Would you like to give me one name of the book that you gift most beside your own?
Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Sir,
Jonathan
please repeat,
Livingston.
sir. Okay.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Bach.
Mhm, mhm.
It's the story. It's a fictional story of a
Ah,
seagull.
about seagull. Yes, I have read it. Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
that
yes, yes.
that story, because it
Mm.
encapsulates becoming. It is becoming the best version of yourself.
Wow. I can never think or no even any general person, public cannot imagine a person who is in military force, defense, he can think of leadership or leadership related to business. So please tell the biggest myth about the military leadership in business.
It- you had mentioned this idea of the discipline and the command and the yes sir, no sir. Leadership.
Hmm.
Leadership fundamentally is about inspiring people to become the best version of themselves. Inspiring
Lovely.
people to become the best version of themselves. And that works in the military as well as business. People tend to think the military is about directing and control and command and
Right.
control. It is about the foundational point of leadership, which is building relationships, establishing trust, and then inspiring people to become better versions of themselves.
Great. So still I have got heap of questions to be asked. But today I won't say as a tough person. But Scott, you literally challenged us to see leadership is not a control, but a conscious creation, something very different, and reminded us that the system shaping our lives were built by us only and can be rebuilt by us only. Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott, for equipping us to turn uncertainty into a agency and the competition into a contribution. At least I never dreamed of it that competition into contribution. Wow. Well, and before I end, please let me know that what one item that you would like to share, especially with the young generation.
The idea nothing has to be. In
Hmm.
other words, it's all possibility.
Right?
So if nothing has to be rigid steps in a process, don't worry about getting everything right.
Hmm.
It's an adventure. The everything is possibility, it's changing. So I would say you need to answer one question.
Right?
What do I want to experience? What
Okay.
do I want to experience? Answer that question fundamentally. What do I
Hmm.
want to experience? And when you dig into it, why? What do I want to experience and why? If you can stay focused on that, then just keep moving in that direction and wonderful things will happen. Remember that magnificent word I talked about? That spectacular person that you are? All of that will begin to be revealed. Don't worry about connecting every dot, being perfect about anything. It's just about moving in a positive direction.
Great, sir. Great. Lovely. Beautiful. Sir, the time do not stop. And I have got still so many questions to be asked. But still, sir, allow me to stop here with a small request that please leave name of the one or two or any number of books so that along with your interview, we can put the name of those books. And on behalf of this platform, I sincerely pray God to give you all strength, all wisdom, all power, all money, all time, and everything. Why? Because the service that you are rendering is the need of an hour, is highly required. And I'm sure all my listeners have enjoyed like anything. And I'm sure they have changed you have changed their perception and they will prove it. So nice of you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm
Well,
highly obliged. We say namaste. Namaste to you, sir.
namaste, Dinesh. Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. Wonderful. It was really wonderful, sir. I loved your session. Beautiful, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Together we are Global Speakers Talk.